Good, how are you?
Hey, Madam Clerk, are we still live?
We have previous.
The Committee of the Whole is where we're at. All right. And we are live? All right. Thank you. Good evening, welcome. Today, March 2nd, 2026. We have a volunteer for the Pledge of Allegiance or the invocation this evening, and it could be anybody from the crowd or staff who would like to do that.
Happy to do the pledge.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Claus. I appreciate that. Okay. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes of the Committee of the Whole from February 17th and the regular council meeting minutes? Or are there anything that we need to address on that? I would like to just propose a change for future. In the Committee of the Whole, we're not supposed to, my concern is we're not supposed to agree or decide in the Committee of the Whole. We're supposed to speak on that. And the wording in the Committee of the Whole, where the committee agreed to consent, we discussed consent, but to agree on consent, it can't be done during the Committee of the Whole.
As long as we don't take a vote, we can.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, but I think it would make it a lot cleaner to revise that language in the future. That's all, just a suggestion. Other than that, they're great, so I appreciate that. Any other discussion on that? Would anybody be opposed to consenting that item? And if so, would you make a motion of that when we get to that during our meeting? Thank you. This evening, a big night for communications of the mayor. We have a police officer oath. Chief Smith, will you be doing that as well as Emily, or will that just be? Okay. All right. Sounds great. And then we have some big years this evening for both chiefs. So happy I get to present those to you, gentlemen. We did have a borough representative. Thank you, Councilman Brandt, for going to the borough and giving the report. That was absolutely wonderful. Brings us on to new business. Request to council for the police vehicle purchases. Chief, do you want to give a staff report with the new microphone we have there?
Yeah, this is nice. Appreciate this. Yeah, so fairly basic request, similar to what we try to accomplish every year. I would say in the agenda, we're not buying two trucks. It does say that. That's not what we're intending to do, but 2 police vehicles that are broken down in detail in my memo and then also in the quote included. The desire is to go ahead and get a patrol vehicle that is canine ready so that it has a canine compartment in the back. And then also get a multi-purpose vehicle that can be used for hauling items, a pickup truck we've needed for a long time, so that our PSA and other individuals can stop using their personal vehicles on the daily to do this type of thing. So it's pretty well spelled out in here. If anyone has any questions about it, I'm happy to answer them or further discussion on it.
I got a question on like hauling stuff around. Couldn't that be done with a police car that's not being used?
No, because the types of items I'm talking about won't fit in the back seat or the back cargo compartment of a police car. Large items, range, various items for using at the range. Most recently, a large piece of equipment that we picked up at Carlisle that we had to go in with a personal vehicle and pick up because it needs the bed of a truck. Chairs to take over to the memorial park. all of those types of things. The fire department's been very generous to help us with different trucks and even the ambulance over the years, but it would be really good to be able to haul our own trash and do some things like that.
Would it be possible, instead of buying a brand new vehicle, to get a secondhand vehicle somewhere?
It'd be possible, but my goal is not to have a vehicle that's just sitting. I don't want a truck that's just sitting in the back parking lot, not pulling double duty as another vehicle, because then it's not getting used a whole lot and we're not getting as much bang for our buck. So my idea is to have it be also utilized as an admin vehicle, thereby freeing up one of the other patrol cars we have and putting that into regular patrol instead of being used as an admin car.
Use an admin vehicle.
Into the mic, if you wouldn't mind, Councilman Brandt.
Who would use an admin vehicle?
The definition of those vehicles would be like the lieutenant and above, or other administrative staff, such as the executive assistant or public safety assistant. Everyone that's not a regular patrol officer.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions?
So pretty much anything you need a truck for, we could utilize Public Works or Fire Department or any of the other trucks that we have in the city. We could rent a U-Haul truck if we have to for a couple times a year uh, for things that will not fit in the back of a patrol vehicle. You have 3 trailers available to you that the police department owns. That could be towed by any one of the police vehicles. I don't see that it's cost effective to the taxpayers at this point to buy a dedicated truck for the police department.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Right. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. That brings us on to request to council Phase 2 water main design project with respect. Director Glidden.
Hello, so we've got the water main replacement project has 3 phases, and the first phase is completed design. So we have all of the design and construction documents for that, and I think it was 2023 we took out a state revolving loan to cover that cost, and there's currently $200,000 left in that loan, and we have a scope and fee to finish up the design of phase 2 would cost $181,066. So I'm just requesting that we move forward on phase 2 of design and sign this proposal.
Thank you, sir. Questions? Please, Councilman Brandt.
Can you tell us how this loan works? I know I spoke to you briefly about it the other day.
So it's state money. We put in a request. They give us theoretically the money. We spend our money and then put in requests and get reimbursed for the portions of the money that we've spent. And they're generally, depending on the terms, we generally get like 20 years, I think, for payback. And the interest rate on that's just over 1%, I think, less than 2%. But the interest doesn't start accruing until 12 months after the first reimbursement, and the repayment plan doesn't start until 12 months after we close out the loan. So once the project is complete and we've taken all of the money we want, 12 months from then is when we'll start repaying the loans, or we'd start being required to pay the loans back.
And this is money that's left over on the loan that we had to take to the voters. I can't remember when it was, a couple years ago. So we do not have to take this back to the voters because the total amount's already been approved. So we're only using the remainder of the loan amount that has already been approved by the voters. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
The current loan that was approved should cover phase 2 of the design for sure. And it was taken out for water main replacement design, so it's all basically the same thing.
Any other questions?
So that would bring the entire water main replacement to 100%, phase 1 and 2, is that correct?
Phase 1 and 2, yes. So phase 3 would not. But that's probably the least important portion. I probably wouldn't recommend we move on to designing phase 3 until way in the future.
Okay, any other questions?
I think that could probably be consented to if nobody else has any objections.
Okay, if you'll make that motion when we get to that point, that would be great. Thank you, Councilman Brandt. That brings us on to request for roundup.
All right, that's me again. So we've had a resident, their meter cracked. I think you can see in the picture, it's probably about a 3-inch crack at the base of the meter. So something like, I think 52,000 gallons were dumped in their basement before they were able to get in and get it turned off. And we currently have set up 2 programs to help out with situations like that. With the sewer, because we don't meter the sewer, we charge the same amount. So for every gallon of water that goes through the meter, we charge them for a gallon of sewer. So we've got it set up to where in a situation like this, where this 52,000 gallons did not go into the sewer, we can prove that by seeing it go into the ground. Then I can approve a reduction in their sewer bill to compensate for that usage that didn't go into our sewer that we basically didn't have to treat and get rid of. So I've done that already. But there's they're put in a request to get some assistance with the actual water bill also. So that process is part of the Roundup program, where residents their bills round up to the nearest dollar, I believe, every month. And that goes into an account so that in situations like this, they can request from the council to use some of that money to offset an emergency type situation, an unexpected situation like this. So their standard bill was like $117, and it was $2,451 is what it ended up being for, I think it was February. So this is just a request. So there's a lot of personal information in this request that has to go through council. So we have to talk about it in the council meeting, but I would request that we don't use names or addresses or talk about their pay stubs and things that you guys have in front of you.
Thank you, Director. Please, Councilman Brandt.
2 questions. Do you know how much money we have left in that account?
I do not.
Do we have enough roughly to cover this?
$1,000.
Okay. The other question do you know what caused the water leak? Here it says it's a pipe that broke, and then here it's the meter that broke.
Yeah, I don't know what caused the meter to crack, but yes, you can see the base of the meter. There's a 3-inch crack in the base. I don't know.
Okay, just in your memo, it says a pipe in the crawl space broke, but that's not
Was
where
that what
the
I
leak
said?
was? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the meter.
So does the meter belong to the city?
No,
No. Okay. So we're not responsible for the meter itself.
no.
So the breaking of the meter and the leak was not our responsibility.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, our responsibility ends at the water mains. But they did already replace with a new meter.
Did they put the new meter in that can detect leaks?
Yeah.
Councilman Williams.
Tim, I got one thing to ask, and it was in the basement, all this water leak down there. Now, when it get ready dries up or get to summertime, if the foundation, it's gonna have a problem, I think. I could be wrong, but that doesn't come on us, does it?
No,
Okay.
this wasn't us.
Do we know? I'm sorry.
Sorry, Jordan had his hand up earlier.
Um, do we know if they had insurance for this? I know that you can get water main insurance or service line insurance. Did we ask that question to see if they have that sort of insurance?
No, I don't believe, I haven't heard anything about asking that, no.
And if not, maybe we could, in the next bill, I know there's a section in the memo section for every bill, just let homeowners know that, as an informative, our responsibility ends at the main. Your homeowner's insurance may provide some sort of supply insurance that would be worth looking into, especially for something like this. A very costly repair, and if they had insurance, this might be an entire house total versus 53,000 gallons in the basement. Did you have a question?
That
Councilwoman
was
Rowe?
basically my
Yeah.
question too. Did they submit an insurance claim because homeowners insurance would cover the damage done by the water going into the basement, and the extra bill basically is something insurance should cover as well. So I would suggest going back to them first to find out, one, if they had a homeowner's insurance, did they submit it to them? And if they did, it shouldn't come from the Roundup program.
Yeah, I didn't ask, but I didn't think about that, no, so I will definitely put that in the list of questions next time.
Councilman Schuster.
I was just gonna say, if we decide to wait, make sure they're not getting hit with fees and
Correct.
collection action.
I think that makes a lot of sense. We've had a couple of these come through in the last couple of years where we've decided case by case basis, but I think most of the time it's been at 50% of whatever the bill was. Do you remember Councilman Brandt or Williams or Councilman Claus? You were on council. I think this is your 10th year on city council. So you've been through a few of these. What has been your experience?
Thanks. It's my 8th year, but you're close. My experience has been what you had just said. It's usually 50% to 100%, depending on the exact circumstance. Thank you.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
Yeah, I never understood that 50% thing, but that has happened in the past. I would be more inclined if we have the money in the account to pay it, pay the portion above their normal bill. Most of the time when things like this happen, I mean, it's so devastating to the homeowner. And if they're one of the people that are paying extra to this fund with the understanding that if something like this happens, it would cover it, why are we only paying 50%? So that just never made sense to me. So I would say if their insurance is not covering it and we have the money in the account, I would be inclined to give them the difference between the normal their normal bill and the amount that went through the
Okay. Any other comments or discussions about that? Okay, and then that brings us on to the attorney firm selection, item D. Any discussion of counselor staff regarding the attorney selection? Please keep in mind, we don't necessarily have to choose this evening if we want to think about the interviews that we had at 5:30 or ask for a second interview, we certainly can. It's completely up to us as a council to decide how we want to move forward with that.
I don't see any sense in holding off.
Okay. Any other discussion about that topic?
I think that we should go with what we got because two of the individuals already came back a second time, and if we don't make a decision, it's going to look bad on us. Okay. My thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Williams. Jordan, did you have your hand raised? Sorry. No, okay. And then we will have an executive session this evening on the mayor's job performance. And then item 15, adjournment. Did you have something to add? Were you raising your hand, Councilman Brandt? Okay. Just wasn't sure there. Okay. I guess we'll take a 8-minute break and then we'll get on with our council meeting.
We are good to go.
We are live. All right. I love packed chambers. Thank you for joining us for this evening's regular council meeting. It is March 2nd, 2026. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Good evening, Mr. Williams,
Here.
Mr. Claus,
Here.
Mr. Rolfe, Miss Rolfe,
Here.
Mr. Schuster.
Here.
Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Skips has an excused absence, and Mayor Church.
I am here.
We have 6 members available.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam Clerk. This evening, we are joined by Miss Charlie, who would like if we join her in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd stand. You certainly can if you'd like to, young lady.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, Miss Charlie. Thank you, dear Lord, for bringing us together this evening. I ask that you watch over our troops. The 168th was deployed to Iraq and the Middle East, along with many other service members. I thank them for their service and pray for their families in their absence. Watch over them, take care of them. In your most holy name we pray. Amen. That brings us to citizens' comments. Madam Clerk, who do we have signed up online? Do we have anybody signed up online for citizens' comments this evening?
I have nobody signed up online this evening.
Anybody in the room who would like to give citizens' comments, please step forth. Make sure that your name is on the list. If it isn't, please state your name, your area of residence, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Wilson, and I'm here as the borough representative to the city of North Pole, just to catch you up on what's been going on at the borough. So I'm not exactly sure what Mr. LaJohn has said the last time he came, but in case you didn't know, the the dog shelter has been fully funded at this point. They will be going out for bid starting, I believe, April 6th. And so if you know any contractors who would like to go and bid on this, it should be a pretty nice contract. We also went through our capital improvement program, and we brought forth quite a few projects. This is just step 1. We will look again at the budget process, whether to fund them. A couple things that did happen that concerns the city of North Pole is that the park here in North Pole has about $2.1 million that has been designated to scope, design, and do some trails and other improvements over there. They plan on involving the city, hopefully you all, as representatives as well, on what you would like to see at that park. How would you like to see the parking? As you know, right now, that's pretty difficult to park over in that particular area. Another thing on finance that happened, that they're going to put $3 million into North Pole Elementary School to be able to do middle school. I do. 50-50 chance. Middle school, sorry for all you middle schoolers. Change windows, do a lot of upgrades to the weatherization. They had $2 million left from the 2013 bonding. They need another $1 million to actually be able to complete it. So that will be put forward as well. On our agenda coming up, it's budget time. Boy, can I wait. So the only thing we have is a finance meeting on Thursday night to talk about the clerk and law. We have no committee of the whole. We have nothing on our agenda next week, 2 weeks from now. I know, go figure that one. And last but not least, we did pass a resolution by consent to oppose the sales tax that the governor is doing. I don't know if there's one part of it I don't know if you know about, but what it does, it has a 10-year sunset. But what they would do is they would collect your sales tax as well. And if they decide to go away in 10 years, they will continue to collect your sales tax. And I'm pretty sure, knowing the state, they won't do it for free. So the city of Fairbanks has already passed a resolution. We passed, it literally reads like theirs, except says the borough versus the city. So I think it's something, especially since you're the ones who collect sales tax, that you might want to weigh in on while you can. And since I have a few minutes, I'm going to take my borough hat off on and put my citizen hat on, just to let you know that I did file to do a citizens initiative to move the election from October to November. It does not affect you. You do not have to do it. If you would like to do it, you would have to have your own citizens initiative, or you could do it by ordinance. But we've had a lot of citizens say that, I didn't know we voted in October, but they all seem to be able to find the polls in November. So I really think it will increase voter turnout on that. And so we will probably within the next couple of weeks be getting signatures for that, about 2,200. So those are both my hats, and thank you very much. And I really do appreciate those that come to the assembly, and they weather it all to the very end with us. So that takes a very special person. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Oh,
Question of council. I'm supposed to give a borough representative report later. Can I just say ditto? Just
That's why I'm here for, to make your job easier. Thank you.
yeah, please come forth. Good evening, Mr. Rolfe.
Good evening. Good evening, Council. On 26th of January, the city and I settled a lawsuit that I brought forward because the mayor denied my right to a public records request I submitted for his ChatGPT history. After this case was settled, the mayor offered to meet with me to go over questions I had of the records, and that were eventually provided to me. I did take the mayor up on this offer, and the first question I had, which any rational person would have, is why did it get to the point of needing to go to take this to court? The mayor's response to this question shocked me. He stated, we agreed to dismiss all of that. We didn't dismiss anything. We settled out of court because with the help of the council and the attorney representing the city for this litigation, the records were finally produced. Also, per the city attorney's response to my complaint to the court, they admitted to everything in the complaint, minus a few things that they didn't, because I spoke about emails between the city and myself that I didn't place as exhibits in my complaint. So some of the things the city attorney did admit is the city failed to provide their requested information in the allotted 10 days. The city's attorney admitted that the city provided me an invoice for the cost of the records and the redactions, and I agreed to pay for it, which was between $1,341.80 and $2,014.20. The attorney admitted that I agreed to pay for these records, and the records were still not produced. And at that point, it had been 31 business days. The city attorney admitted that the city had no basis to deny the public records request. My concern is that even after the city attorney admitted all of this, the mayor is still denying that he was wrong in any way. And this concerns me. It should concern everyone on the council. It should concern every citizen who lives in the city of North Pole. If the mayor is ever put in the situation again, would it be any different? Would it cost the city even more money to fight a lawsuit that should have never gotten to that point? I do admit that there isn't many situations where the mayor would need to fulfill the public records request, but in this instance, he was the only person capable of doing it. It was because it was his account and no one else had his username and password. So for the mayor to say on the December 15th council meeting that the public records request, that this public records request would be filled by the clerk was completely false. Since mayor is still unwilling to take ownership for his mistakes, I would urge the council to form a committee for an AI use policy and any other city policy that is lacking. From what I understand, there's little to no policies for the city of North Pole in their policy manual. Another thing that I did want to point out is that was concerning. There was 30 pages of redacted information that were redacted because of employee progressive discipline. So providing employee confidential information to AI, which most of the leading AI companies have stated should never enter anything into AI that you would not be okay with the public knowing, including anything that would be needing to be redacted. That's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Rolfe. I appreciate it. Councilman Brandt, question.
If I remember right, you had stated that he said it would be 2,500 double-sided pages of information. How many pages were actually turned over?
600. So a little over 600.
Thank you.
Question is, what happened to the other 1,800 pages? Nobody knows, huh?
Nobody knows.
Any other questions for Mr. Rolfe? Please, Ms. Rolfe.
You say that you urge us to do a policy for AI use. What would need to be in the policy to prevent this from happening?
Pretty much you in there, it should state what you are or what you can put into AI and what you definitely should not put into it, including employee information. Anything confidential, AI is not confidential at all.
Right, but that wouldn't have prevented the lawsuit from happening because that doesn't prevent.
Correct. So another step that you should put in there would be for the city of North Pole to require anybody who uses AI to have an enterprise account that is managed by your IT provider, that in the event that a public records request is then put in, the IT provider would be able to extract what is requested, provide it to the clerk. The clerk would then, in this case, deem what would need to be redacted and then fulfill the request.
Any further questions for Mr. Rolfe? Thank you for your testimony this evening. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else signed up?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Amanda Jones. I reside on Eielson Farm Road, North Pole. I have two separate topics I'd like to address this evening. First, I am very appreciative of the newest Bed Tax Grant Committee's thoroughness, understanding, and application of the code displayed on Friday, 27 February. The committee very clearly had reviewed the code applications and did a great job ensuring the code was followed to the best of their ability. My second topic, my concern is with the city's process for receiving, forwarding, and documenting public testimony, especially for community members like me, a busy parent, spouse, full-time employee, and active volunteer with several nonprofit organizations in our local community. Many residents rely on the ability to submit written testimony because attending meetings in person is not always feasible. I submitted public testimony on 20 January via email to the city clerk to ensure it would be provided to the city council for review and consideration prior to the meeting's non-agenda item period. I was later informed that the council did not receive my testimony until after the executive session, where the topic I addressed had already been discussed, which unfortunately reduced the relevance and impact of my comments. I admit it was my fault for being confused regarding the topic and the agenda versus non-agenda items and when to speak, so I missed my opportunity to share in the meeting due to my own confusion. I'm likely not the only citizen that's confused regarding when and when not to give public testimony. Additionally, my testimony was not summarized in the meeting minutes, although other public comments were. Is there a policy outlining which types of public testimony, for example, verbal versus written, are recorded in the official meeting minutes? If testimony submitted on time is not provided to the council promptly or not included in the meeting minutes, how can we be confident our input is valued, or is it? I invest significant time listening to this city's council meetings and putting my thoughts into writing with the hope that my voice contributes meaningfully to decisions, policies, and council actions. I'd appreciate clarification on the public testimony process so I and others in the community can understand how to ensure our participation is effective and recognized. I am also confused regarding the process. If I have a public comment regarding an item that is on the agenda, but it is consented during the committee of the whole, When do I provide those comments? I urge you just to review your public testimony policy and procedures and ensure they're in the best interest of the public and the purpose for the council to receive our communications. Thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you. Before you leave, do we have any questions, council? Okay, thank you very
Thanks.
much. I appreciate it.
Hi, good evening, council and Mayor Church and my fellow community members. My name is Julie Swisher, and I am the Executive Director of the American Red Cross of Alaska. And I'm here today to, number one, just inform you that nationwide, we celebrate March as American Red Cross Month. The American Red Cross is a humanitarian organization that works to alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers, and we are funded by the generosity of donors, and that is our mission. The American Red Cross is filled with neighbors who make its humanitarian mission possible in North Pole, Fairbanks, the interior, and the rest of the state, the country, and the world. Every day, our volunteers' acts of kindness change lives, bring in relief, comfort, and hope when help can't wait. This compassion spirit runs deep in our community, and the American Red Cross has been around for over 145 years. In the state of Alaska, just in the last fiscal year, the American Red Cross has responded to over 207 disasters, and we've helped over 900 Alaskans. We're supported by 475 Alaskan volunteers, and we've made 426 Alaskan homes safer by installing over 1,000 smoke alarms. We've enrolled over 14,000 Alaskans in CPR, first aid, AED, water safety, and preparedness training with courses both in person and online. And we've provided over 17,000 services to members of the military, veterans, their families, including Alaska emergency messaging and health and wellness. Today, I stand before you to ask the council, Mayor Church, and this body to recognize March as Red Cross Month and acknowledge the proclamation that I set forth before you last month. And I'm here to just say thank you. I see many of our firefighters from the North Pole Fire Department here in the room with us. And I'd just like to take a moment to also thank them for the things that they do, all of the work that they do in the North Pole community. We work side by side in ensuring that our community is a safer place when emergencies happen. The number one emergency that the American Red Cross respond to are home fires. And after a conversation with Chief Heineken earlier today, we've seen a high amount of home fires over the course of the last couple months due to the inclement weather, cold temperatures, and people trying to make do with the heat sources that they have. It's been a very busy season. And I know that many of us are busy, overworked, and we're trying to get through this cold weather together. And so I just want to acknowledge their presence and thank them. The North Pole City Council last year did work with us to help install smoke alarms as well in the North Pole community. And I wanted to say thank you to this council for that. And I hope that we can continue this partnership working together to make our community safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for all you do for our interior through the Red Cross. It is a super important organization, and we do appreciate that. So thank you. Other council comments or questions? Please, Councilman Claus.
Thank you. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Speaking as a former FEMA disaster generalist and a former instructor trainer for the American Red Cross for CPR, advanced first aid, emergency care, and water safety, thank you for what you do. Thanks for corralling all the volunteers, the numerous volunteers you have throughout the state, and for your competent staff and helping so many people. And sometimes it's the worst day of their life. So thank you for doing all that.
Thank you so much.
Got one thing to say. I would like to say that I was one of the individuals that went on the putting up fire detectors. And for those that don't know, you learn a lot and you see a lot in people's homes and different things. And you make suggestions And there's a couple of suggestions that I made that people picked up on to make their house even more protective. So it's a good learning environment if you can get on this program and go out with those guys. You will learn. That's it.
So much.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks for joining us this evening. Anyone signed up or anyone else signed up for citizens' comments? With that, I will, oh, please. Don't be shy. Good evening. Please state your name and place of residence or area of residence.
My name is Lisa Rockwell, and I am a North Pole resident. We moved here in 2009 with the military. And I'm here to introduce myself and share plans for a new roller skating rink here in North Pole. I'm developing in this community, and I'm writing and respectfully requesting the city's partnership as I move forward with this project. This project represents a significant local investment and is intended to provide a safe, family-friendly recreational space while creating jobs and supporting long-term community growth. I'm going to be naming this the Gabriel Rockwell Community Skate Center, or Skates, after my son Gabriel. The roller skating rink is projected to create 10 to 15 local jobs, including management operations, concessions, maintenance, and event staff, in addition to direct employment. The key focus of this project is local youth engagement, military family support, and our fire department, law enforcement. We're going to be offering after-school and weekend skate sessions for youth, homeschool recess programs, affordable birthday parties and group activities, special nights and discounts for first responders and military families, community events designed to provide a safe, positive space for teens and families. And the goal is to create a welcoming environment that's oriented entertainment. It's particularly important to military families who are new to the area and for youth seeking safe, supervised activities who would prefer to conduct business in North Pole, not Fairbanks. This project is being developed as a veteran-owned and military spouse-owned small business with a strong focus on serving all families in the Fairbanks North Star Borough. It is intended to benefit the communities of North Pole and Fairbanks, including families stationed at Eielson Air Force Base and Fort Wainwright. This is providing a safe, family-friendly recreational space, year-round indoor gathering place. The business is structured to align with the goals of several economic development and veteran support programs, including those offered through the U.S. Department of VA, Small Business Administration, and the Veteran Readiness and Employment, SBA Veterans Advantage, and Small Business Development Centers, as well as the Department of Defense Quality of Life and Military Family Readiness Initiative. I'm committed to building a business that reflects positively on North Pole and supports the families who live and serve here. I respectfully request the City of North Pole's consideration in assisting with any municipal fees associated with the development of the new roller skating rink within the city limits, including zoning fees, plan fees. This will be operated as a local family-run business. My husband, David, who is 100% total disabled veteran, who has proudly made North Pole our home, and I'm deeply committed to giving back to the community that has supported me. We're currently working with Design Alaska to ensure that all planning and engineering are compliant. And the vision for this roller skating rink is to create year-round family-friendly recreational facility that will serve residents of all ages. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Please, Councilman Brandt.
Thank you for coming in. When I spoke to you earlier, I believe you said that it was going to be about a 20,000 square foot facility. Is that right?
It's a 20,000 square foot area with a concession stand. We will eventually be putting in like rock climbing. I also would like to, I want to work with the flooring engineer who is going to try to make it where we can also do indoor soccer practices for kids.
Nice. And I think you had 3 places in mind that you were looking at.
Yes.
2 of them were within the city limits. Can you tell us where those are?
The one is 71 St. Nicholas Drive. I'm working with a local realtor here to see if we can obtain that property. I found two others that I was speaking with Chamber of Commerce today. And so those may be possibilities right off the highway.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for joining us this evening. Anyone else for citizens' comments before we close it? Okay. Seeing none. Moving on. That brings us to item 5, approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve,
Move
please?
to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
And then I'd like to make a motion to move item 6A, February 17th, 2026 Committee of the Whole minutes, and item 6B, February 17th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, and item 12B, request the council phase 2 water main design project respect to the consent agenda.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the agenda as amended, Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes.
On the agenda for this evening, Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none. Thank you.
Those both passed with six yeses.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Since we have consented item 6, brings us to item 7, communications from the mayor. And this evening, we would like our new officer to step forward to receive his oath of office.
I, Cord Tozier,
I, Cord Tozier,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Alaska,
the Constitution of the State of Alaska,
Texas,
and the Code of Ordinances of the City of North Pole.
faithfully discharge my duties
I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a police officer.
so help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for joining our team. Okay, that brings us on to Chad, Mr. Chief Chad Heineken's 20-year pin. I'll come to you if you want.
Wasn't expecting an audience. I'll add to this.
Would everyone like to gather?
Yes.
Come on, let's go. Group effort here.
Thank you, Julie and Rachel.
I'll get in. And then, all right, thank you for. Favorite part. about your 20-year. Youngins would really like to know
Favorite part?
your favorite part.
Council chambers on instead of the fire department. It's probably just watching this department grow over the last 20 years. You know, myself, Chief Kuhn, Chief Chambers have seen this department grow since the 80s. And I've been lucky enough to be part of it since 2006. Seen big changes, seen it grow, our staffing grow, our facilities grow, our equipment grow, our capabilities. So just seeing that growth, that's probably the coolest thing I've seen.
I want to say thank you. So I've worked with you now for almost 2 years, and I appreciate your dedication. You run a wonderful team and you run a wonderful department. I know that it was left in good hands to you, and we appreciate your dedication. So, I'd like to present you with a 20-year pin of service.
Thank you.
Quick speech.
Quick speech. Yeah, I truly was not expecting an audience. If you ask these guys, they asked me this morning if there was anything on the agenda. I said, I think we're approving cop cars today. I think nothing for the fire department. So thank you for being here, guys. It truly is an honor to lead this fire department. And I'm thrilled that my former boss, Chief Kuhn, is here today because he's been a big part of my career. The staff is a giant part of my career. 20 years has gone fast, really, really fast. I at times feel like I'm still the new guy at the station, but unfortunately I look around and as you can tell, I'm the old guy at the fire station. So thank you everybody for supporting me, and a few more years in me, we hope, and we'll see where we go.
They get close like you like each other. She's done this before.
I suppose we usually shake hands with everybody.
Okay, and that brings us to our second chief pinning this evening. It's a big day in the city of North Pole. Chief Smith. So Chief Smith is receiving his 15-year pin this evening and his 10-year pin, because somehow along the way, that anniversary was also missed. So we're doing a twofer this evening. So if the entire police department that is here would like to come up, that would be great. Chief, thank you for your dedicated service to the city of North Pole, both 10 and 15 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I do have to ask, what is your favorite part? And because you received 2 pins, you have to answer 2 questions. What was your favorite part about the first 10 years? And what's your favorite part about the remaining 5?
For the first 10 years doing real police work. You know, just getting to know the people in the community. Along the way, though, that blends into other responsibilities, and probably my all-time favorite thing is watching young officers develop to the point that they're calm, cool, and collected under pressure themselves, and they know what to do without constantly relying on somebody else. It's like watching people grow up. That gets to happen over and over and over as people become successful police officers, and I love watching that happen because it benefits them and it greatly benefits our community. That's 2 things.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chief. Okay, and with that, it brings me on to the rest of my communications from the mayor. I'd like to start off by thanking the Petito Foundation. They were out here this week and last week. They came to North Pole High School, North Pole Middle School, in town, and I believe this evening they're presenting at UAF. They came all the way from Florida talking to our students about domestic abuse, domestic violence, signs to watch for, and red flags. Domestic violence is never a fun issue to talk about, discuss, or present. And the way that the Petito Foundation went about presenting it to the kids, things to watch out for in text, and real world questions from the audience. Just want to thank them for their professionalism and how they handled that and for bringing that to our community. I'd like to give a shout out to the Doyon Foundation for hosting the gathering and welcoming of our 4-star general, Chief of the Army, General George, who was in town last week. It was a great honor to meet him, talk with him a little bit about North Pole and his visit, and present him with a North Pole Challenge coin so he could remember the event. A few days later, I was invited by the 11th Airborne, along with other local and state elected officials, for a Cat V tour and a ride out to their training grounds behind Eielson to see everything that they were doing. I also got a chance to talk with CG Cogbill about North Pole, our needs, our desires, and the way that we could work together on the city level with our nearest neighboring military installations. I also got the opportunity to present him with a North Pole Challenge coin, which is pretty nice. Last Friday, I got the chance to judge some of the local art. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the art show, but I was able to bring some of it down. And Madam Clerk, if you wouldn't mind zooming in on the board behind you, the odd-looking faces are on purpose. It is kids who drew themselves trying to catch snowflakes out of the sky. Other Alaskan themes that they decided to draw, and the center picture there was based on a Dr. Seuss book, and I can't for the life of me remember which one, but it's all about travels. All the places you'll go, thank you. Is it right there on the tag? All right, well, maybe I should go to school. I want to say thanks to them for letting us display their art here in Chambers. It's always great to have that happen. And thanks to Summit Academy for having an art show in our city. The Bed Tax Committee was very busy last week. We met twice last week, and the 2025 applicants had a chance to present to the 2026 committee. The committee did approve recommendations at our Friday meeting, and it was great to see all of council. Some council attended Monday's meeting, some council attended Friday's meeting, but it was great to have council members there at the committee level to be able to understand what was really going on with the bed tax and those applicants. Couple of fun things here happening in North Pole. The North Pole Championships races are happening this weekend over in Morning Star Park, which is at the corner of Badger Road and Hearst. And there is a local leader race March 5th at 4:30 start. So if any council members would like to race, it will be about an 8-minute race. 1.8 miles, you'll be on the back of a sprint sled. Should be a fun event. Other things going on in our community. The North Pole High School band concert is tonight and tomorrow at the Oring Auditorium at North Pole High School. I believe that starts at 7, and Thursday, the orchestra is having their concert before spring break, which is next week. If all of those parents out in the crowd aren't tracking that, it's a big deal. This weekend, I just want to give a shout out to the city of Nenana. If you're done doing the North Pole Championship dog sled races at Morningstar Park, you could drive to Nenana and watch the Tripod Days, which is happening in Nenana this weekend. And if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, it's time. Also this evening is the Blood Moon. It's kind of a neat deal. It should be between midnight and 2 a.m. You look out and the entire moon goes from what it normally is to red, and hopefully the weather, if it was anything like last night, should be crystal clear to be able to see it. I have seen this before a couple of different times when I was trucking up the Hall Road, and it is pretty wonderful and cool to see. Need to check out. With that, I just remind you, please take care of your neighbor. Check in on your neighbor. We're a small community. Let's make that happen. Moves us on to item 8, questions of the mayor. Councilman Claus.
Mayor, I have a question, especially in light of the council comment by Mr. Rolfe regarding that AI chat GPT stuff. And since it's kind of cost our community a fair amount of money to deal with this, are you willing to agree not to use chat GPT or another AI device or system until the AI policy is in place and approved by council, please?
Am I willing to not use ChatGPT?
City business.
Yeah, I can agree to that, Councilman Claus. I can agree to that. I don't have any problem with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, bet. Any other questions of the mayor?
Got a question on, we had a couple of staff meetings here that, there was an issue of us coming to the staff meetings. Did you put any writing
So
why you don't want us to come to staff meeting or what we should or should not do to come to staff meetings?
yeah, thank you for the question. I appreciate it in such a public forum. Like I've told you and other members of the council who have attended staff meetings, you're part of a legislative body. And as part of a legislative body to come to a staff meeting, you inherently know more information than the remaining council members. I have an issue with that. I also have an issue with notice. I think it's unfair to our staff for the council to show up unannounced to any meeting without having any sort of formal invite or request and allowing everybody to know one way or the other. So thank you for the question, Mr. Williams.
Are you finished? Are you finished? Well, I think that we have never done that before. And I don't see why we should try and do that now, because you know what it looks like that you want to put one over on us. That's what it looks like. I don't know what anybody else says or what they do, but that's what it looks like. All I'm saying is we should not have to do to the meeting, sit there. Sometimes we got good things to say to what's going on, and sometimes we can help a situation, okay? That is wrong. That would definitely look like you're trying to hide something.
Well, I'm not trying to hide anything, but thank you for the accusation.
That's not an accusation. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing.
But
It's not an accusation. I'm telling
it
you. what
looks
I'm
like
seeing.
you're trying to hide something. Is
How anybody else looks at that or how they see that, okay? It's not an accusation.
okay. So your question is, why haven't we done this before? Is that your question? Because I don't think it should be done. I don't think it's fair to our city. I don't think it's fair to our employees that the legislative body who makes decisions for the city be at a staff level where decisions are made by staff. Not every decision made at a staff meeting comes in front of the council. But if it does come in front of the council, you have privy information that you shouldn't share with the remaining body of the North Pole City Council. And if you do, then that could be a telephone meeting. So if you come to our staff meeting and say, we're going to talk about business, blah, 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 at our council meeting, and this is what was said at the staff meeting, and you tell 4 council members about it, you have essentially broken the Open Meetings Act by having a telephone serial meeting. And that's why I don't think it's a great idea. I think as a legislative body, we should make decisions together as a legislative body and not at the staff level. Good question. Thank you for that, Mr. Williams. Anyone else? Please, Ms. Rolfe.
Yeah, I have a question based on your answer. If items talked about at the staff meeting that are appearing on the agenda, this is the way I took it, tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Things discussed in it shouldn't then be discussed here, or they would have additional information that we council that didn't attend the meeting have. Why are those things being discussed at staff meetings at all? If it's something that needs to be happening in a public forum and everybody needs to have all of the same information, those items on the agenda shouldn't be discussed basically in private without council present.
So this is a chance for staff to get together, talk about ideas, talk about the way they want to present things in a manner that isn't finished. It's a deliberative process. And inadvertently, a council member who is attending a staff meeting may take something out of that that isn't necessarily the exact way that it is during that process of deliberating what's going to happen or what's going to say, and it may affect their decision-making ability. Like if Chief said, was at the meeting, and I'll use any item from the agenda this evening. Let's say the police cars were talked about at a staff meeting, and Chief said, hey, we're looking at maybe getting 1 vehicle. We've talked about maybe getting 2. And that item then comes to council. It's discussed. Council members believe it's 1 vehicle. It comes on the agenda and it's 2 vehicles. They're going to be surprised by that and maybe have information that not everybody on the legislative body, which is our council, has from that meeting.
There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody comes to council with a different level of knowledge based on their own personal knowledge and based upon how much research they've done before the meeting. My other question, I guess, to follow up from that is, that's not the only thing that occurs at staff meetings. My understanding is ordinances that council members have put forward are discussed at the staff meetings. If the purpose is how they want to present stuff, if it's not their ordinance or an ordinance that you're bringing forth on their behalf, why is it discussed at a staff meeting then? Because they're not the ones presenting it. The people presenting it are the council members who've brought it forward.
So you're right that we also discuss that, resolutions and every other piece of city business that comes to a staff meeting. I think it's important for staff to be able to chime in and talk about anything that's happening in the city, just like the city council gets to do this evening at a council meeting.
I don't disagree, but I think we as council members need to hear that input, and those discussions need to happen either at the committee of the whole or at council meetings and not behind closed doors with only you hearing that information.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other, please, Councilman Brandt.
I really didn't want to get into this in a council meeting, but here we are. I think you're saying that council members that have more knowledge about an issue than other council members, that's our job, to get as much information as we possibly can on something. If I have more knowledge about the others, then that just means that I've done a little bit more work. You're confusing quasi judicial matters where we all have to, we cannot, we're legally not allowed to do that kind of research. That's a quasi judicial matter. We, since I've been on council, have never had a quasi judicial matter on our agenda. The other comment I have is when you were a council member, you came to staff meetings, and it was never an issue for you when you were doing it.
There wasn't a question there, but I feel like I should address this, so thank you for that. I did come to a staff meeting. I attended 2 staff meetings. One was at the request of the clerk, and the second meeting was at the request of the mayor. So you are correct. I have attended staff meetings, so thank you for that. Oh, please, a follow-up.
I will say you attended more than that, but that's fine. The only staff meetings that I have attended, I was invited to also. I don't want to go to your staff meetings, Larry. I really don't. But when there's staff that are concerned about issues and invite me to observe at a meeting, I'm not going to tell them no. So you said that you were invited to staff meetings by certain people. I was invited to staff meetings by certain people. Benny, Santa, all of us have been invited at different times by different people. And if it's not an issue when you were on council, it should not be an issue while we're on council.
So when I sent out an email, I requested that any staff member or any council member that wanted to attend a staff meeting, I'm asking for some notice so that we can allow staff the notice that you're coming to the meeting. It's unfair to show up unannounced. It's unprofessional to show up unannounced. And I'm sorry if you don't agree with me, and that's okay. We don't have to agree, Mr. Brandt.
Well, I'll be honest with you, okay?
Please be honest with us,
The-
Mr. Williams.
If the supervisors don't want me to come to a staff meeting, you guys tell me, okay? I'm here looking out for the people in community in North Pole, okay? And I will do what it takes to make sure that we still have everything so everybody know what's going on, okay? If you don't want me to come to the meeting, you got to put it in writing. And you ain't done that, and I don't think you will do that. Because that would not be cool. Not at all. Okay? I'm here to protect them guys over there as well as you.
So
You may
this,
not see it, okay?
Councilman Williams, I appreciate your point. This is questions of the mayor. If you want to
It
phrase
is a question.
what you have as a question,
I'll be here at staff meetings, okay?
that's a statement, sir. But I appreciate it. Any other questions of the mayor?
My next question would be,
Please, Councilman Williams.
who does Emily work for? The clerk. Who does the clerk work for? That's a question. Who does clerk work for?
Clerk works for the council.
Okay. So if there's a problem with the clerk, you got to come to the council first, right? You should, right? Yes or no?
Mr. Williams, I'm unsure as to where you're going, and I believe that
Yes.
you're in territory
Problem?
that is
Clerk.
unprofessional to discuss in an open meeting. I believe it is unprofessional, sir. Yes, point of order. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any other questions? I can call a point of order, decorum. I mean, it's a little out of hand. Yeah. Thank you. From the audience, appreciate that, Miss Wilson. Okay, any other questions of the mayor before we get any further off track? Okay. Takes us to communications from department heads. Item 9. Madam Clerk, would you like to go first?
Sure. First, I wanted to say, Mayor, thank you for bringing the art. It's wonderful and ironic that, oh, the places you'll go, and we have two 10 15-year and 20-year pins behind the department heads. It's nice to see you guys. Maggie and I missed you last meeting. I wanted to say, Lisa, I still have my roller skates, so I'm very excited about that prospect. Council, APOC filing. I do have several of you have APOC filed. A couple of you haven't. If you need help with forms, March 15th is a deadline, and I'm happy to, if you need paper forms, I'm happy to do it. My Alaska, where you apply for your dividend, is where the state prefers that you fill out the paperwork. But if you need paper documents, reach out to me. I will get those to you. I wanted to, in regards to the policy issue that was pointed out in the meeting, or in the, a couple of council members asked me to reach out to the Alaska clerks, and we're lucky that one of the Fairbanks North Star Borough clerks is on the membership committee. She provided me with a roster of the entire state of Alaska certified municipal clerks, and I asked them if they had any policies to address AI, and I did receive 6 what appeared to be very quality policies that if there is a committee meeting that is brought together, I would be happy to bring those documents to the committee so you could see what other places around the state are doing. And other than, please don't forget to file APOC by March 15th. That's required.
Questions of the clerk? Okay. Oh, please, Councilman Klaus.
Oh, one question. When we were recently going through our bed tax committee process, did everybody get on the same page as far as the clerk's responsibilities, which are pretty limited with regard to committees?
I believe that they, from what I hear, Alina Reed did a real quality job. She, right after the meeting, provided me the required documents from the chair, which was a report of what happened. I thanked her for providing that information, and I shared it with the council this morning. So I feel like the committee did they did a great job, and they've been tasked with a lot because they've had a couple more meetings than standard this year.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just go down the line. Councilman Brandt, since you were the bureau representative, do you have a report, or would you like Miss Wilson's report to be your report?
Yeah, Ms. Wilson covered pretty much everything that pertains to North Pole. There was a few other things on the agenda that they exempted real property that's exclusively used for farming activity from property taxes, and they passed that. The effective date for that will be January 1st of 2027. I did not know this, but Ladd Elementary and Tennon Middle School actually sit on Army land. And we have been leasing that property from them. The lease is up, so we are looking at signing a new 25-year lease. The lease itself will not cost anything, but there's approximately up to $232,000 worth of costs associated with that lease to do environmental studies and surveying and things like that. And that would be, the high end. They're not sure exactly what we will be paying for, what the Army will be paying for, but they passed that appropriation. The improvements to North Pole Middle School, the exterior renovation project, there was a couple $1 million left over from a bond fund, 2017, I think it was. I can't remember when that passed, but it wasn't enough to finish this project. So they asked to appropriate another $1 million for that, which the Assembly did approve. That's going to be putting new doors, windows, exterior insulation and new siding on the building that is 50 years old this year. What else? Oh, the Aldridge Park in South Fairbanks, they appropriated another $230,000 or so to add a basketball court to that. And in the CIP, as Ms. Wilson mentioned, is the improvements to the Fifth Avenue Park here in North Pole. It's actually almost $2.5 million that is in the CIP for that. It's pretty high up on the list, so it's very likely to be approved, but we won't know until budget season. They do have a rough drawing of what it's going to look like. And one of the interesting things is they are going to bury the overhead electrical lines that go across that property, so that'll be nice. They're improving the parking, which is horrible now. So they're going to be improving that. Putting in ADA accessible pathways and really nice playground. So that will go into the planning phase and probably won't start construction until the summer of, would be next summer, not this summer, but the summer of 2027. So.
Thank you for that. And just to clarify, when you say we, you mean we, the Fairbanks North Star Borough, not we, the City Council of North Pole.
We, in which one that I talked about?
The
Talking about
leases on military land.
everything that I
Yeah.
said was about the borough.
Okay, perfect.
So
Thank you for
obviously
that.
that's in Fairbanks. It has nothing to do with North Pole.
All right. Thank you, sir.
But we do belong to the borough, so I said we.
Okay. Which chief would like to go first? Thank you, Chief Heineken.
Good evening, everybody. First off, thank you for the 20-year pin recognition. Very much appreciated. I know Julie Swisher is left, but I would like to thank her for being here tonight and echo what she says about the Red Cross. The fire department does partner with the Red Cross quite a bit, and they are a very valued partner, and we try to support them in any way we can. We benefit the fire department specifically from the Red Cross tremendously. When we have structure fires or other events of that nature in this type of environment where we have this cold, we often call on the Red Cross. They actually come out and provide services to our firefighters as they're actually working a fire, providing warm drinks, beverages, food, shelter, and that's alongside of all of the services they offer our citizens that are suffering this tremendous sudden loss. The ability that they have to instantly render aid to somebody that has just lost a home, a business, something due to fire or other tragedy. They're able to soften that impact in an immediate fashion. So I very much appreciate her being here and recommend that the city recognize the Red Cross. It's been a while since I've been here, so some of this stuff feels like it's a little bit older, but the first week of February, I was in Juneau for the Alaska Fire Chiefs Leadership Summit, as we're down there every year. It was a wonderful conference, great leadership, great mingling, and as most of you probably have heard, I was acknowledged and received an award during the conference. I was given the Warren B. Cummins Fire Chief of the Year Award. I'm very humbled by this, but I'm extremely I'm very proud of getting this specific award. The State Fire Chiefs Association only gives out one award one time a year. It is the only award they present. And honestly, when I became the fire chief, I kind of used that award as a compass as to what I was doing as a fire chief. I watched that award go to many, many amazing mentors, throughout the state that had earned that award. Warren B. Cummings had passed away some years ago, but he was the fire chief for the city of Fairbanks for many years. And they named the ward after him because of the type of fire chief he was and how much he was involved, not just with his fire department, the Fairbanks Fire Department, but local fire departments and statewide. So he had tremendous impact throughout the entire state on the fire service in general. So like I said, I watched other chiefs get that award and made it a goal that I would love to have earned that someday in the future. It happened faster than I thought, actually. But I use that as a compass as to, am I doing the things that would make me worthy for this award? That's how tremendous this award is. So, yeah, I hate to boast about myself, but this is one I'm very proud of. So thank you for everybody that has congratulated me. It was unexpected. It was a complete surprise. I had no idea it was coming until they announced it. So, yeah, I'm very, very proud of that. Moving on with stuff that the fire department in general has been doing. We were very proud as the fire department to be able to participate in the celebration of the hockey team's tremendous victory, and was able to celebrate them coming back into town. Our staff enthusiastically participated with that and enjoyed welcoming them home. So congratulations to them once again. On a different tone, not everything is always good news. February 17th, we had an ambulance that was involved in a motor vehicle accident. They were actually transporting a patient to the City of Fairbanks FMH, and the intersection of Lathrop and Davis had an incident. They had to call another ambulance to continue that transport. That incident did not incur any other injuries. It was a lighter accident. So no, thank goodness, nobody in either vehicle was harmed. It has taken one of our Type 1 Ford F-350 ambulances out of service. It's currently at an auto body shop in town, and insurance stuff is carrying through, and it is definitely repairable. You know, repairs will be made. It'll probably take several months to get it back. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that that had occurred. Everybody is aware of our weather this winter. Wow, this winter just won't let go. And it definitely impacts the fire department. The high snow load has covered our hydrants once again. And then this immediate deep cold after it makes it extremely hard for us to get out there and get those hydrants cleared. So we're going to be working on those hydrants as we can, as weather permits. Hopefully we get them cleared again before we get more snow. Just a reminder, if you have a hydrant in your neighborhood next to your house, if you're going to be clearing next to your mailbox, we would love you to clear your hydrant. It's nothing mandatory, nothing you have to do, but sometimes seconds make a big difference when your house is on fire. And if we're digging hydrants out, that takes a lot of time to get water. So, so take a look at your neighborhood fire hydrants, and if you see an issue, at least you can call and point it out to us, and we can try to get our guys out there to clear them. That's all I have this evening. I can take any questions.
Councilman Brandt.
So what's the situation with the ambulances now when we have one out of service? How do we deal with that?
Yeah, actually, we have two spares, so we're not hurting. Normally we would always keep one spare. We've always had 3 ambulances at the fire department, 2 that we keep into service, and then 1 as a spare. When we bought the Vambulance 2 years ago, we had made the decision not to send 1 to auction, which left us a 4th. And the idea is that we could possibly re-chassis one of the box units for a savings when we need another ambulance down the road. So we did have 2 in reserve at the station. One of them has gone into service, covering the one that was damaged, and then we still have 1 more in reserve right now. So we're in good shape as of right now. Knock on, I'm a little stereotypical, so I'll knock on wood that nothing happens till we get that one back in service.
We don't really get a whole lot when we sell those at auction anyway, right? So
not traditionally, no. Yeah, I do. During the conference in June, I was able to meet with some of the manufacturers, and we've got a couple of the manufacturers looking into the options that we could possibly do to lessen the impact of buying ambulances, which is, it's getting pretty common to do what they call a remount, where they'll actually take the big square box off the back of that chassis, pull it off and roll a brand new chassis underneath it, and then, reconstruct a lot of the electronics and stuff around it. And usually you can get pretty good savings from that. So we're hoping that they'll come back to us with just that, with a plan to save on the next purchase.
I'm glad we have the spares.
Yeah, so am I.
Chief, what was the cause of that accident?
I don't have a cause. You would, FPD, they responded to it. But yeah, I don't have a cause that I could announce at this time.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief. Director Glidden.
Hello. So I got a little bit today. For the utilities, the effluent discharge project is making good progress. The Army Corps of Engineers, the borough, and the state have all okayed the preliminary plans to run the lines through their property. And ADEC is excited about the proposed new location. So those are huge milestones to keep going. So the design estimate cost of this new location, right now it's $3.5 million is going to cost to move this. So we now have that number so that we can start looking for funding for that. The sludge removal project is moving forward. That's a project I'd like to do this fall to remove the sludge from our lagoons. The fall is a good time to do it because it's right before the freeze, so it would help mitigate some of the odor problems that we might have the first year of it sitting out. And with our most recent tests, our ammonia levels are currently out of tolerance, so we don't really have time to wait another year to before we start removing this sludge. So that's going to be a thing that I'm going to attempt to do this summer. I put in a request for the Lisa Murkowski appropriations and congressional directed spending for $6.5 million for the water main replacement project and $25 million for the fire station. So that's from FY27. So we won't hear about that till next year, but maybe we can get some money that way. This October, I would like to put on the ballot 2 state revolving fund loans. One for $6.5 million for the water main replacement, and one for $3.5 million for the effluent discharge. That's going to happen months down the road, but I just want to put that out there so the citizens and the council can wrap their mind around that $10 million request that's hopefully going to be on the ballot. For the building department, building season's right around the corner, so we're receiving quite a few calls from smaller projects asking about the permits and things, so that's pretty exciting. I'm personally going to be inspecting a solar panel installation and a small commercial space renovation because both of our contracted engineers are out of town right now, so I'm just going to go knock those out for us. I'm going to start taking some online classes about municipal inspections so that I can get a better understanding of what to expect if I'm going to go out and inspect larger projects in the future. And just a side note, because we did some attorney interviews, both of the engineers that currently do our inspections, we sign an annual contract with them. So we need to sign that contract. And currently the mayor doesn't feel comfortable without an attorney looking at it. So theoretically, we've got no inspectors until we get that figured out. For Public Works, we cleared the Highway Park Playground basketball court on Friday, and the fire department did an amazing job flooding it. So we now have an ice skating rink in North Pole. If any of the citizens would like to go out and ice skate on a basketball court. Thank you, Jordan Schuster, for that idea. I got some fantastic news on, I believe it was Thursday. We've talked quite a bit about the Protect grant over the past year and the stormwater runoff projects. And the last time we talked, we talked about scoping it down to just a design project because we're running out of time and all the money has to be obligated by September of this year. But we've gotten a 5-year extension. So we now have 5 years to obligate it. So we can now stretch it back out to be a design and construction project. Obviously, the original problem still exists. We don't have enough to do everything that was in the original project, but I'm pretty sure we could do something. I'm going to bring an actual proposal to you guys before we do anything, but that was exciting news, I thought. So I wanted to let you guys know that we can now potentially do some construction also, not just the design. And another piece of information, we've removed snow 12 times already this winter, which is excessive. So we're gonna definitely need a budget adjustment at some point this year. We've got enough in the budget right now to cover it, and 2 more snow removals. So if we have another couple good months, we'll be fine. But who knows what's going to happen? I just got a text that my house just froze up. So it's been a great winter so far. So that's what I got.
Questions for the director? Councilman Brandt.
Have you had any feedback at all yet from the stormwater grant, whether or not they are going to allow us to change the scope of the grant? I know that was a question, that the main question we had is whether or not they were going to allow us to do that. Have you heard? Right. So I did talk to them about our thoughts to do that, and they were positive that it could be switched to a design project, but they were not likely to give us the full funding for just the design. What they came back to me with was we can do just the design part of the project, but that means you can only use the design portion of which was less than $100,000, which wouldn't have done any of the design at all. So it's been, I don't know, 3 weeks or a month now that I've been dealing with them, trying to figure out how we could get more money from them to do something as opposed to nothing. But this last week, that was fantastic news. So theoretically, we're in a much better position. They're not going to want to give us $500,000 or $600,000 for design, but we could potentially design a couple of them and construct a couple of them, and then we would both be happy. Yeah, the sooner we lock that down, the better. Right. I mean, we've been back and forth on that for forever here. 100%. I agree. I'm afraid it's going to be an issue this spring, which obviously nothing we can do about that now. But yeah, the sooner we can get that locked down, the better, I think. Right. Great. Thanks for working on that. Yeah.
Councilman Schuster.
Yeah, I just had one on the snow removal. Our contractor did a really nice job through that storm to get everything cleared. And I have heard a couple complaints about maybe widen some of it, or and so on that, I guess there's probably not a whole lot room to widen things anymore. Are they going to be hauling, or is there plans to have some snow hauled, especially in some of those areas that are notorious for flooding?
We don't currently have any plans to haul. That's a pretty expensive deal. But yeah, I do agree. There are some neighborhoods that it's pretty tight. We have been getting quite a few calls of citizens complaining that we're putting too much snow in their yards. So I don't know what's the happy medium between pushing the snow more off the roads or hauling it. I believe it was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars last time we hauled snow. I don't, that's definitely not in the budget, but I do think that that's a potential future project for sure.
Yeah. At least maybe too on that note, I don't know if Public Works is able to do it, but the some of the intersections are pretty brimmed up and it's kind of hard to see
Right.
traffic if somebody could go around doing that.
Yeah, we do have that in the plans for Public Works to do some of the safety removal and try to make things better when they get a chance. It's been tough, like you said, with the
Weather.
with the weather, but yeah, everybody's doing a great job though.
Okay, thank you. Madam CFO.
Well, just after hearing Tim's comments, I think we probably should put a fiscal note together for the next meeting. At least for some extra plowing, we haven't done hard pack yet. And maybe you could get some kind of price on if our guys are going to do the hauling or not, but I'll work with Tim on that for the next meeting. We're fully into audit preparation right now. We have scheduled weekly calls with our auditors. Tonight I got the last related parties signed off form tonight, so we have all those in and are loaded up on the auditor's website. I was out of town and I believe I owe some reporting to you guys. Usually we report at the second meeting of the month, and I was gone that last meeting, and we had had some issues with this December cash receipting. However, we got those all straightened out. So I'll probably send out two financial statements to you guys through Emily probably by the end of the week. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
I just want to say thank you very much for coming back from vacation. I honestly didn't think you would.
Yeah, it's been brutal. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice. And the
Appreciate it.
next day I got back, it was 38 below zero, and it got even worse after that. So my friend said, I told you to stay. And I said, I should have listened to you.
Any other questions?
I just had one, but it's probably not for the CFO. I was just curious if there's any update on applicants or when those would be coming forth for the position.
That would be a great question for Madam HR.
We did have several applicants and good applicants. We went through those and we will be scheduling interviews probably next week.
Good question, Councilman Schuster. Chief Smith.
I'd also like to give a shout out to the Gabby Petito Foundation for their willingness to come a long ways to Alaska. Having this type of advanced training, if you will, or talks is a really important part of what we do in law enforcement because it can definitely prevent issues down the road and certainly a lot of pain and suffering in people's lives. And so we're thankful that they came up and were willing to do that. And it sounds like they're interested in potentially coming back to other areas of Alaska. So we've opened a door to that within the state, which I'm very happy about. That all kind of started with Detective Gregory at a conference she was at, and they were the keynote speakers, and a connection was made there, networking, and that ultimately is what resulted in them coming to Alaska. So thankful about that. Police department also was honored to participate in the little ad hoc hockey parade we had a few weeks ago. Congratulations to them for their achievement. We're continuing to work on the K-9 program. I've got good support from a number of business owners that I've talked to, and we're moving forward on that front with it. I'm also working on policy, making sure that's squared away because we have not had a official K-9 policy before. I'm going to send some stats out via email in my next update because that'll be a little easier to digest than in this forum for what we're looking at for the beginning of this year. Unsurprisingly, with the extremely cold temperatures, There's going to be a little bit of a slump in those for about a month as people really didn't leave their houses a whole lot. I would say just to the community at large that DUIs continue to rise area wide. And so people need to think very carefully about the choices they make with driving and with the alcohol consumption, because we're paying attention, we're out there and we're looking for them. So we don't want to see that trend to continue to go up. I'll take any questions you might have.
Questions for the chief? Seeing none. Thank you. That brings us on to item 10, ongoing projects, which we don't have. 11, unfinished business we don't have. And I would like to move to suspend the rules for 5 minutes for a restroom break. It's almost 8:30. Let's take a 5-minute restroom break and come back and finish the rest of our meeting.
It's your one. This morning it was 40. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that, Madam Clerk. Back to item 12 and 12A. Can I get a motion to approve, please? Move to introduce.
Second?
So be it. Police vehicle purchases for 2 company trucks, even though it's a police cruiser and a pickup, takes us to a staff report. Chief Smith.
Yeah, so as I talked about briefly at the meeting of the whole, the request is for 2 patrol vehicles or 2 vehicles for this year, which is consistent with our yearly replacement maintenance schedule to keep our overall fleet mileage manageable. As you probably all know, because I've talked about it, as those miles start to go up, repair costs also skyrocket as well. So this year we're looking at something a little bit different. I specifically only pushed for purchasing 1 vehicle last year, hoping to lead with a positive balance in the vehicle fleet fund. This year a need's been identified for a patrol car that has the capability for a canine cage. We look at going live with that in the fall, and so it's going to take some months to get the vehicles here. We'd like to get that started and rolling, so we're not plastic crating the dog in the back of another patrol car when that goes live. So other than that, that vehicle's pretty much standard for what our patrol vehicles look like as far as equipment. There is a note for you to just note on the back of or the second page of my memo. There are significant additional costs to this vehicle that are not included in the total purchase price because those are equipment, video system and radios. Those I have on hand from previous purchases, but I just wanted you to be aware that that's probably a more accurate dartboard to look at as far as what it actually costs to get a vehicle fully outfitted with a radio and with video. You'll also notice a request for a Ford F-150. This is the Ford police version of the Ford F-150. It would also come with a scaled down light package because it would be an admin vehicle, so there would be no need for a video, a camera system and as many lights as a regular car has. This request is based on trying to accomplish several things at once. One, we're currently using a patrol car as an admin vehicle. That's what the lieutenant is currently driving. It would be really nice to badge that and roll it into the vehicle fleet because it's fully outfitted. It can be used by a regular patrol officer, putting him in more of an admin vehicle and less, or whatever you want to call it, admin or command vehicle comparable to what other agencies do. Secondarily, we have 3 trailers. 2 are covered trailers. One is a flatbed. The 2 white covered trailers, one is used for housing rapid response equipment in the case of some type of terrorist incident. It was more in the thinking back when the refinery was fully active, but nonetheless, that's still what it's used for. The other is our dedicated range trailer. Both of those are extremely heavy trailers. None of our regular patrol cars will pull those. And the current Expedition we have is also not rated for them, though I have used it to pull them. I'm hopeful that a little heavier duty vehicle will make it a bit easier and safer to pull those trailers. Additionally, over the 15 years that I've been there, we've had a lot of other needs for a pickup truck, everything from hauling chairs to the police memorial to hauling garbage to the dump, construction materials. I've used my own personal rig countless times to move city stuff. In fact, to my chagrin as a young officer, I threw a piece of construction material into a former sergeant's truck and broke out the back window of his truck because we were using his personal rig. So personal stuff gets damaged. People are not being reimbursed for mileage, and it continues to be an issue. It was brought up, well, why don't you just borrow somebody else's truck? Why don't you rent a vehicle? Been there, done that for years. And while I appreciate the generosity of other agencies, I also don't necessarily want to pull their equipment every time we need to do something, nor do I want to spend the man hours going and renting vehicle and costing money for that. So Overall, I'm looking to try to save the money, save the city money long-term. An F-150 that has a scaled down light package is significantly cheaper than a regular patrol car because it doesn't have a cage and it doesn't have lights. It would allow us to end up with 2 patrol cars rolled right into patrol this year and also allow us to accomplish some of these other administrative tasks without having a dedicated truck that's just sitting on the lot somewhere, not constantly being used for a command rig or for an admin vehicle. So that's my thinking on this. It's based on analyzing the problem and also the input from our public safety assistant and a lieutenant and a couple of sergeants trying to make the best decision possible about what we need for this year. I'll take any questions you might have.
Any questions for Chief Smith? Please, Councilwoman Rolfe.
You made a statement that, oh,
Okay, let's call for public testimony. Thank you, Councilman Brandt. I appreciate that. Would anybody like to give public testimony regarding this item?
Yeah, I do have, he's signed up.
Thank you, and welcome again, Mr. Rolfe.
Evening. A lot of my comments were answered by the chief, which I do appreciate. So it's my understanding, but I could be wrong, in order to have a vehicle with red and blue lights, don't you need to be a sworn officer to drive it?
Sorry, it's
Sorry, okay.
it's
Sorry, I can't answer questions.
it's citizens' comments,
You're right. My
not
bad.
questions of the department heads. Thank you.
I thought that was a requirement, but I could be wrong. If it is a requirement, would that preclude your admin staff from using the vehicle if that's the case? My next comment would be, have you looked at how the troopers, I know you provided 2 different methods of procuring this from 2 different vendors. I'm not sure if you've looked at how the troopers procure it. Maybe there's some cost savings there, or the DOT state equipment fleet, kind of like how Public Works procured their last pickup truck, if that's a pricing option to kind of maybe reduce costs. If this truck for the admin command is going to have a light package with the potential of pulling over people or assisting people on the side of the road, wouldn't you want a video system in there for transparency in the event that you have to pull somebody over or assist another cop in a traffic stop, DUI, things like that, for transparency purposes? That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Thank you for your testimony. Council discussion, I believe. Oh, Councilman Schuster, Ms. Rolfe, I believe you were first.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Rolfe.
I had a question.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that it wouldn't have a camera package, which is what would make it less cost savings or give some cost savings. Why is there not a camera package on it? If it's going to be used by possibly the lieutenant or yourself, I would assume you would be responding to calls to assist other officers possibly with it. Shouldn't it have a camera unit on it?
That's a good question. Can I speak to his other questions too simultaneously? Yeah. So we have dash cam. We also have body cameras. So there is that redundancy there. The camera systems are very, very expensive. So it's a question of, can we achieve that transparency using other equipment that we already have versus putting them in a vehicle where it's ideally pretty rarely going to be used for that purpose. 9 times out of 10, if you're responding to a scene as a command rig, you're actually staging, you're parking in another location, you're setting up an incident command, not unlike our fire department does. And so in that case, it's really about the commander coordinating resources and less about him going hands-on with somebody or, chasing in like a police pursuit with the vehicle or something like that. So I'm comfortable with, so I'm headed back from a meeting and I need to pull somebody over because they blow past me. I've got my body camera on. I'm comfortable with that being a level of transparency. If the council feels differently and wants me to amend the cost to add the additional, $7,000, I'm happy to do so. Again, I'm just trying to balance those two things. I could kit the whole thing out and get a cage and all kinds of stuff in it, but it is an admin vehicle, so I'm trying to find a balance there. To answer a couple of the other questions, no, there's nothing in state statute that prohibits a non-sworn officer driving a vehicle that's equipped. I mean, every time we take our cars into the mechanic, they do a test drive of those cars. Certainly, if they go around flipping the lights on and trying to pull people over and impersonating an officer, that would cross that line, or, you know, even using it in an inappropriate or reckless manner, that could potentially be illegal. But just the fact that it's equipped with lights, I mean, quite frankly, a civilian could have a car equipped with those lights, and as long as they never turned them on a public roadway, they could potentially have those things and drive around with them and turn them on in a parking lot or something. Not advocating for that, don't do that, but just as an example, that's the reality. So, was that all of his questions?
Follow up.
I just had a follow-
Councilwoman Rolfe.
I just had a follow-up to that. I know that as an attorney, my first thing, if you pulled somebody over in a rig like that and you only had your body cam, is that you can literally see nothing as far as out the windshield from a body cam. You pretty much see the steering wheel and maybe a little bit. So I'm gonna argue Thorne and that you've destroyed evidence because you don't have the camera. So I personally would want at least a dash cam in the vehicle. I don't think you would need the cameras that face inward if you're not going to have a cage, but I think at a minimum you would want a dash cam on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions? Please, Councilman Schuster.
Yeah, I was just curious. City of Fairbanks also has a Ford pickup truck, correct? Have you got any feedback from them on theirs?
Yeah, we talked to them extensively because FPD has a F-150 and the Silverado as well, and so I kind of wanted to know which one do you prefer for various reasons, and they overwhelmingly preferred the F-150.
Any other questions? Please, Councilman Brandt.
You said you're using it to haul construction materials. That's one of the uses you want to use it for.
That's one of the things we've needed a truck for, yeah.
So we have a public works department that can take care of that for you. Hauling stuff to the dump. We have a dumpster right outside the door of the police station. There's a dumpster right there for garbage instead of hauling to the dump. We have a U-Haul right here on Fifth Avenue. Anytime you need to rent a vehicle, it's right there, and it's a lot cheaper than, you know, you're wanting to spend $72,000. We have to register it, we have to insure it, all that kind of stuff for the few times that we actually need a pickup as opposed to a standard rig. I don't see it just doesn't make sense to me dollar-wise. There's 4 extra fleet vehicles that are not assigned officers at this point. You know, nothing against the police department. I'm just saying that this is a want, it's not a need. We've just heard tonight, we only have enough money for 2 more snow removals this year. Not this winter, this year. That's to get us through December 31st. We're likely going to have to remove all that snow from the west end of town. Last time we did that, that was nearly $1 million. We just paid well over $17,000 for a lawsuit. If things don't change, I'm fully expecting more lawsuits that are going to cost us a lot more than that.
I would just be
The state is looking at, you know, a 4% seasonal sales tax and 2% the rest of the year. If that happens, our sales tax goes up to 9.5%.
Point of
That's
order.
going to-
Topic, please, if you don't mind staying on topic.
I am on topic.
Okay, thank you.
If that happens, business in North Pole will likely dry up and our tax income is going to go away. I'm looking at our budget. Where are we going to come up with this money? For all the other expenses that we have that are needs, not wants. I got the inventory of the police department vehicles from you today. All of them are under 50,000 miles. All of the ones that are assigned to a police officer are under 50,000. Well, one has 50,159 miles. The next closest one is only 43,000 miles. We got 3 new vehicles last year. Again, our taxpayers don't have bottomless pockets. I don't know how many of you got your new electric bill. The electric rates have gone up significantly. Oil prices right now are due to just go sky high. Our property tax assessments just came out. I don't know anybody's that went down. Mine went up 7%. And the reason I say this is because, like I said, we don't need these vehicles. You're wanting to keep the fleet under 30,000 miles. You said the average under 30,000 miles.
Oh, I did not.
I believe that's what you said in our memo. What is the average that you wanted to keep it under then?
A healthy average is between 40 and 45,000 miles across the entire fleet. That includes ones that have 0 and several other that you didn't mention that have close to 100,000 miles on them. So we look at the entire fleet and we try to keep it at a range where the repair costs are not non-existent, but aren't accelerating.
I understand that the ones that are near 100,000 miles, you have one at 94 and one at 95. Those are fleet vehicles. Those are the spare vehicles, just like our spare ambulance. So those are only going to be used when one of our vehicles is down and in for repairs.
Do you always have to use those to factor into the total fleet mileage? Because there's always 2 or 3 that are right on the edge of rolling into that realm.
Okay. So I spoke to Jerry Million several months ago about this topic, and I think Jordan spoke to him too. I didn't understand the reasoning behind it because I'm not a mechanic, but he said, the idling time on a police vehicle is not bad for it whatsoever, not on a modern vehicle. And this is from Jerry Million, who we can all agree is an expert mechanic.
You know how many miles per hour it puts on a vehicle to run it?
I do not.
30.
That is not the.
It's a nationally recognized standard. I did all that
Okay.
research as part of this.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going by the expert that I spoke to, who said we should be getting easily 150,000 miles out of our vehicles, and the vehicles that we have in our fleet that are actively being used by police officers all have well under 50,000 miles. And like I said, I'm nothing against the police department, but at this point in time, we need to look at, can we afford to spend this kind of money on a want and not a need when we have so many expenses, unknown expenses that are coming at us really quick here?
So you're saying a want and not a need. What is that statement based on, if I may?
I'm saying that you're wanting to replace these vehicles that have less than 50,000 miles on them. You're wanting, and that's fine. I understand where you're coming from. But, I drive a truck that was built in the 1900s, that has 380,000 miles on it, and it's still going. And I'm not suggesting we do that with the police vehicles, but I'm saying we should be getting more than 50,000 miles out of our police vehicles. These cost us, on average, over 100,000 miles $100,000 when we get them fully equipped.
But he's suggesting we replace them at 50,000 miles. We run them all the way up to 100,000. And the statement, "This is a want, not a need," communicates that I'm bringing a proposal to council based on my emotions and my desires, not research and experience. When I assess whether we need 1 or 2 or 3 or 6 vehicles, I do that based on watching the vehicle fleet for, you just found out tonight, a pretty significant length of time, and managing it and being there for those repairs and seeing them happen and watching the department pay for them and seeing that develop year after year and year after year. I get counsel from other people in my agency that are boots on ground, that are involved with it, and from that I try to make the best decision that I can. I will never bring a request to council that is something that Jed wants on a personal level. And that's a very offensive thing to me, because that implies that I'm not doing my job, which is to carefully research the issue and present facts. Now, people may not agree with those facts, and that's fair. And I respect people's right not to agree with them, but I have no interest in bringing some type of novelty to all of you. If I told you what I wanted, it'd look a lot different than what my proposal is here tonight. So I would appreciate if that level of work that I'm trying to do to present a good proposal could be fairly evaluated on that basis. That's my commitment to you, all of you, is not to bring that to you.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. Any further questions? Councilman Bennett?
There's nothing in my wording about a want that was meant to be offensive towards you. And I don't think he even took it that way. I don't know why you said that. What I meant by a want is that we do not need a new vehicle. Yes, it would be nice to have a new vehicle. We don't need it. Our vehicles are in good condition. They have very low miles. Yes, I know you want to keep them at low miles. If we put this off till next year, they're not going to have that many more miles on them. This one with 50,000 miles on it, how many miles are we putting on it a year? So next year it'll have 55 or 60,000.
It took us 7 years to dig out of the hole of our cars being an average of 85,000 miles across the entire fleet. 7 years. When you put it off a year, what you've done is purchased 2 or 3 years that it's going to take to get the entire fleet back to a certain point, because we can't just expend funds and replace 5 or 6 vehicles at a time. The fleet has to be managed in a 10 to 15 year look of where we're going to be. And I've lived those days of our Crown Vics having that average mileage. I know what that's like because I've driven those cars at 120 miles an hour. I also understand what happens to patrol vehicles when they get 60, 70, 80,000 miles. It's not a civilian car. No offense, but you guys don't drive your cars the way we drive our cars. I hope not. It wears them out. And so again, the proposal is being made based on that look and those types of experiences. So either trust that or you don't.
I didn't say I didn't trust it, Jeff.
Appreciate that.
What I said was we should be getting more miles out of these cars. Okay? If this kind of spending continues, I had this conversation with you. If this spending continues, not just in your department, but citywide, we will get a tax cap. I am
point of
trying
order.
to avoid that.
Point of order. Thank you.
Point of order what?
Point of
We're
order, a
talking
tax
budget.
cap does,
We're talking budget, okay? This is very pertinent to the budget. If our budget continues to escalate the way it's going, we will get a tax cap or worse, a spending cap. I am trying to avoid that. I am trying to figure out how are we going to pay for snow removal for the SD there. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to pay to, all these lawyer bills that we've got coming up. I'm trying to figure out how to pay for this stuff. And I'm not saying that, I'm saying that right now, this is not a right now need. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Other questions? I would like to propose an amendment based on Councilwoman Rolfe's questions to amend the pickup truck to have a camera system put in it while approving this motion.
I'll second that just for the purpose of discussion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Chief Smith, you told us that these prices are just for the vehicles. The addition of the radios and cameras will come after and is not included in this.
No, so sorry if there's any confusion there. Since the camera and the radios are pieces of hardware, I have those on hand. So they are physically in my inventory based on previous year purchases. You would need to add because since I was only planning on one video system, you would need to add that, like he's proposing, a video system to bring that one up to that level. But the other three, I just included because I just wanted you to have an accurate picture of what it actually takes to outfit a car.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or discussion? Please, Councilman Claus.
So I was listening to both sort of sides of this, the request and also the questions, and I'm wondering if taking into consideration the strained budget that we have and the the perceived need for the vehicles, if there is a way to find some sort of compromise with it, whether it's making it one vehicle or some other measure. I don't know. So I'm just asking the question.
Just for clarification, the funding, oh,
Sorry, we're in discussion on the amendment. So, yeah, if you'd like to answer that, sir, please go ahead.
I'll just say the funding I'm intending to allocate is already in our vehicle fleet fund. So it's a separate thing than the budget at large.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment to purchase a radio, a video system along with the F-150 from Utilitac along with the K9 unit.
Point of order.
Please.
We have to vote on the amendment by itself.
Okay.
And also, we had testimony from Chief Smith that said we already had the video system in our inventory.
Actually, we only have the video system for one, which is, he spoke to that already, but thank you for that.
But
The-
we need to vote on the.
Madam
amendment
Clerk.
The motion that I heard was to amend the memo to add a second camera to the package. That was moved by the mayor, seconded by Sandra, Miss Rolfe. So roll call, Miss Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Oh,
Mr. Williams.
No.
Mr. Brandt,
No,
Mr. Claus,
No,
Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
That amendment failed 4-2.
Any further discussion on the request? Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Just a point of clarification, the motion was moved to introduce. Is it possible that you could,
I shall amend my motion to approve the memo through Utilitac as suggested per the memorandum.
and concurrent to the second on that?
Yes.
On the motion to approve the police vehicle purchases for 2 company vehicles, Mr. Williams? Mr. Claus?
no,
Mr. Schuster?
yes.
Miss Rolfe?
No.
Mr. Brandt?
no.
Mayor Church?
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
The memo failed 4-2.
I do have a question. Can we bring that back to just vote on one?
Yeah, I would believe that an amendment would have had to been made before we made the main motion request. But thank you for the question, Ms. Schuster. I appreciate it. With that failure, it brings us on to item 12C, request to council for the Roundup program. Director Glidden.
Let me move it first.
Yeah, please.
Move to approve request to council for Roundup program request.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Director Glidden.
Hello. So we have a request to council for the Roundup program. This is a program that our utility customers voluntarily round up their utility bills every month to pay into this, just in case somebody in our utility system has an unforeseen situation where their bill is substantially larger than it normally is. So this request is from somebody whose meter cracked and dumped 52,000 gallons of water into their basement. And their bill went from $117 up to $2,451. That's the water and sewer bill. I've already approved the forgiveness of some of the sewer bill to bring it down to be more reasonable, but they're requesting from the council some forgiveness of their water bill.
Okay, thank you, Director Glidden. Need public testimony on this item. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody signed up who would like to give testimony?
I have nobody signed up. Was there anybody here that, I have nobody for public testimony.
Okay, that brings us to council discussion. Any questions? Please, Councilwoman Rolfe.
Do we know how old the meter was?
Very. I think from the 80s.
Okay, further questions? Please, Councilman Schuster.
I do have one. I know I was notified on getting my meter replaced. Did they also get the same notice?
So there's two parts of the meter. There's the base and then the head that actually records the information. I'm not sure which portion you had replaced, but either way, no, I do not know if they got any kind of warning that their meter base was old. I can look into that if you'd like.
Yeah, I guess if we're just gonna keep running into this, then it might be wise to maybe just like what was said earlier, to put that on the bill and say, our water, you own the water meter, and so take that in inventory, because I think a lot of people probably don't.
Right.
Just assume it's the city's.
So this request doesn't include the cost of replacing the meter. They've paid for that, and they paid the repairs for the house. The only thing they're requesting is forgiveness of the water that they didn't actually use.
Councilman Brandt.
So when we're going through and replacing the old meters, like Councilman Schuster said that he got a notice to replace his, are we charging for that? Or is that, do we pay for that?
We are only replacing the head. It doesn't actually touch the water. We don't replace the base. They'd have to call a plumber to get the base replaced, which is the part that cracked. So then they would be charged for that, yes.
So they purchased the meter from a plumbing supply company and then we put our head on it?
Right.
Okay. So there was a question during the committee of the whole whether or not they ran this through their insurance company and if the insurance company paid the water bill. I am inclined to approve this for the full amount of the the remaining bill, but only if the insurance company has not paid for it already. And I don't know how to find that out or how to go about that.
So I can see the concern from that. My personal thought on it is that this is a voluntary program that our residents are paying into for this situation. So whether or not they have insurance, I don't think should play into whether or not they qualify for a program that they pay into in case this situation happens to them. My initial thought would be that insurance companies only reimburse on bills, not on, or on
On the
receipts,
damages?
not on bills.
Okay.
So I wouldn't think that the homeowner could claim this until they've paid it. And this program doesn't give out cash. It's going to reduce the bill.
Oh, okay.
Which would mean that they're going to pay their regular bill, which in my mind means they can't take it to their insurance. And
That's a
if they
good point.
do, then it would be insurance fraud, which would not be something that pertains to us.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't saying that you should, so I understand what you're saying about the insurance, that this is a voluntary program and it shouldn't only go to people with insurance. I was just saying that if the insurance company had reimbursed them for the cost, and then we also reimburse them, that they would be getting, it would be benefiting from it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But
right, I
the
do.
point that, yeah, they would have to turn the bill into the insurance company. So if we pass this, if we tell them, we're paying this, so you can't turn this into your insurance, I'd be fine with that. And I would be inclined to do the full amount, not 50%.
Director Glidden, how long have these folks been part of the Roundup program? How long have they been paying into this Roundup insurance or Roundup program?
I have no idea. I can look into it.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
Personally, I don't see how that's relevant. If you get insurance today and you get in a wreck today, they pay it off. So I don't see how the longevity that they've been in the program matters.
Would anyone on council like to look at the Roundup program code to help make this decision? Would that be helpful at all? I know we have looked at it before during these types of discussions.
I think it'd be useful.
Madam Clerk, sorry to put you on the spot. Would you mind?
Does anybody have the?
I believe if you just type in Roundup, it should come up because I believe it's part of the Roundup.
So it looks like it's 13.12.110. It's an F. 1312. $1312.110.
We can see.
You might be able to drag that. Can you drag that mid blue button all the way to the right?
Blue button. So
In the middle where the page is split, you may be able to drag that cursor to the far right and open that whole thing up right there. Yep. There you go. You bet. It's the only technologically help I can offer.
okay, where am I looking at now?
Request shall be made by council to determine if it was substantial Substantiated or not. Charges for the customer shall be, can you scroll down? There, thank you. Substantiated. Approved term. So Tim, with the sewer charges, you said that you waived some of those sewer charges. What was the amount of that waive of the sewer charge? Is it to match the water amount that was used in your request?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just to bring their sewer bill back down to what it was in prior months. So basically just what the difference was.
So you did a 90-day average or?
I'm not sure what the average was done. I'm not sure how far.
Councilwoman Rolfe.
So I have a question. I'm sure you can see it on my face as I'm trying to look at this. So the section that Tim gave to us is appeal of utility billings, but what we're talking about is roundup program request.
Right.
But this doesn't
Sorry.
talk about the roundup program at all?
All right, so there might be somewhere around there, sorry.
Okay.
That's the sewer building. Can we type in? Yeah. Thank you, Madam Clerk. See where that takes us. Usually the system is pretty decent. Roundup utility rate repealed in 2018.
So yes, it was a 90-day average that was used for the calculations.
Okay. Thank you for that. I just think it's helpful to be able to read the code and know what the code is before we make a decision on it.
Well, I guess.
Right. Or they, yeah. I think every new utility customer is automatically opted in when they sign up and they have to request to be opted out. I do know somewhere in there that it isn't for multifamily buildings, can't be part of the Roundup program, or I suppose they could contribute, but they can't receive any of the funds, which is why I asked earlier if this was a duplex or not. Because if it was a multifamily, it wouldn't apply for that. No luck, Madam Clerk?
So I know you're.
Oh,
I don't think that's necessary.
don't believe that would help. I'm sorry. I thought that this would be, oh, Water Utility Customer Emergency Payment Fund. Can we try that up there? You down to? There you go. Roundup utility rate. Automatic enrollment. All utility customers will automatically be enrolled in the Roundup utility rate. The Roundup utility rate shall be calculated by rounding up the total to the nearest whole dollar. Opt out. Can we scroll down a little bit, please? A little further. Management of these. We scroll down a little bit more, Madam Clerk. Boarding Utility Customer Emergency Payment Fund. City Council shall have the sole authority to distribute the funds of the Utility Customer Emergency Payment Fund to utility customers applying for assistance to pay their North Pole utility bills. Guidance for the award. Documentation. Significant decline in household income that results in demonstrated financial hardship, unexpected major household expenses, and changes in family status like divorce, separation, deployment, which result in a demonstrated hardship or other criteria that is approved by council.
Yeah, I think water line breaks causing an excessive water bill is what we're looking at here. Yeah.
No later than 7 calendar days before the next regularly scheduled council. Request for assistance. City clerk.
I just want to say, if we don't approve this, why do we have the program? Like,
Exactly.
let's,
No, 100%.
I don't know what
So,
we're looking for.
In the past, what we have typically done is 50% of the total. I'm not saying that that's what we need to follow, but in the past, that's the way it's been handled. Madam CFO, do we know approximately the value that we have in the Roundup Fund?
We have
Okay. Councilman Brandt.
I would say in the past, the 50% just seemed really arbitrary. It doesn't make sense to me. The program says exactly what it says. So I'm inclined to just to approve this. I will say that says 116410 was removed from the sewage, leaving 1,286.90 on the bill. But if their normal bill is 117, maybe we should take that 117 off of the 1286.90 and then just approve that, if that makes sense to everybody. So they would still be paying the normal amount that they would have paid if the break had not occurred. And reducing it to 50%, I don't see the sense in that. Like Councilman Schuster said, this is exactly what this fund is for.
Please, Councilwoman Rolfe.
Did they give an actual amount they were requesting? Section 3 requires them to request a specific amount.
You're doing great, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
No, I do not see a total amount they're requesting.
What are you reading from there? Would you mind? reading that?
1324-040 says that an application for utility customer emergency payment fund awards, a residential North Pole utility customer seeking an award from the utility customer's emergency payment fund to help pay all or part of their North Pole utility bill shall provide a written and notarized explanation of reason why they need an award and the supporting income information as needed to demonstrate financial need. The explanation shall include the dollar amount of their utility bill and the dollar amount of their award request.
So no, they have not notarized anything, and there is no dollar amount that I see where they're requesting.
Councilman Schuster.
is there an application they fill out for this? Or are they expected to go read through this code?
There is no application. So they are
Probably on
expected
us
to read
then.
the code.
Further discussion? Any amendments?
But I can tell you the amount that I took off for sewer, which theoretically should mathematically be the same. $1,164.10.
116410.
Yes.
Okay. I move that we pay this in the amount of $1,164.10.
Second.
Correct.
Correct. Any further discussion? Any issues with that, Director Glidden?
No, that sounds good.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the motion to approve the amendment to approve the amount of $1,164.10, Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes.
And on the motion to approve the the request as amended, Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mayor Church,
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
and those both passed with 6.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That brings us on to 12D, attorney/attorney firm selections. During our work session, we as council interviewed 3 attorney firms. And I believe they each got 15 minutes. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Correct.
Is that what we set up? We asked all firms the same questions, and if you'd like to go back and watch that video, we'll have that after this meeting is over, unless that's already posted.
It's already online.
Perfect. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
The 3 firms were JDO Law, Guess and Rudd, and I'm probably going to butcher the Munson, Cacchiola, and Severin. Those were the 3 different firms.
That's a sort of a poor staff report, but I think we should call for public testimony. Anyone wishing to discuss this item?
We actually have to have a motion in front of us.
All right, let's do that.
So I would move to approve Munson, Caclio, and Severin as our new city attorney.
Second.
Okay. So moved and seconded.
My staff report was just providing for the agenda their proposals.
No, I know. And that was, we probably should have amended the agenda for each law firm to select yay or nay, but we're here. So that brings us to a call for public testimony. Is there anybody signed up online or in the room that would like to give public testimony? Mr. Rolfe, thank you for joining us this evening.
Evening again. I do support hiring, what is it, MCS. From my side of things, they were courteous, polite, prompt. They answered all my questions, even the ignorant ones that I had. As far as I could tell, they were as truthful as they could be. They were pleasant to work with. If they were half as pleasant from my side, they'll be great for you guys. So I do support this.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any further public testimony? Council discussion. Please, Councilman Brandt.
I would say when I hired them to, or when the council hired them to handle the public records request lawsuit, I had reached out to the borough attorney and asked her for recommendations for law firms. And she gave me 3 names, and I emailed all of them, and the only one that responded was Rob from MCS, and he responded right away. We had a great conversation, and like I said, when we did have questions of him after we did hire him, he was right on top of it. Like I said, during the interviews, I literally got emails from him at 9 o'clock at night, and I got emails from him on the weekends, phone calls. He's extremely knowledgeable. Him and Mr. Severin both had a lot of very good recommendations for the city on how to move forward. when we got the bill from them, I don't know if everybody read the bill, but the amount of write-offs that they gave us really surprised me. They didn't charge us nearly as much as they could have or should have. And that was one of the problems with our former law firm, basically double billing us for stuff, and they did not do that. I also like the fact that he has, Mr. Palmer himself has 11 or 12 years as a attorney with the Borough and City of Juneau. So the municipal experience is exactly what we need. Like I said, last time when we hired a law firm, I didn't think we needed somebody with all that experience. I thought any attorney could just approve any contract and ordinance, and that kind of bit us in the butt. So I think going forward, we need somebody with this kind of experience. And I personally, from my personal dealings with him over this lawsuit, I would feel very comfortable going forward with them as our city attorneys.
Please, Councilwoman Rolfe.
So I just want to say, I didn't deal with them for the lawsuit at all. But their presentation that they gave today, I was most impressed with the information they provided to us versus the other firms. The other firms talked about having just one single person as a point of contact, as far as attorneys go, whereas MCS talked about we would have a main attorney that we would have as our point of contact. However, in the event that they're out, we would CC, or whoever's having contact with them would CC the other two attorneys as part of the team, that they would stay basically up to date on what's going on. But unless they were actually engaging with us, they're not going to bill us for that, so that if one of them's out, somebody else can easily step in and answer that question. And I don't think we'll have the timing issues that we were having with the last firm of not getting things back, of RFPs and contracts taking so long, and so much time. And I thought that that was the best approach that we saw from them versus the other two, where they would have to get somebody else up to speed, or we'd have to wait for that attorney to get back into the office. So we wouldn't see the lag time and stuff with these guys as we might with the others.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
To that point, during this whole lawsuit, everything that Mr. Palmer did, he CC'd Mr. Severin and kept in contact with him the entire time. So both of them were up to speed the entire time, but we were not billed by Mr. Severin separately for him being kept up to speed on everything. So I did appreciate that.
Any further discussion? I'd like to give my 2 cents. I agree with Mr. Rolfe, Mr. Brandt, and Mrs. Rolfe. That legal team during the ChatGPT public records request was wonderful to deal with. They answered the phone, they answered the email, and I think it's great that we have 3 great attorney firms, and I'm sure many more, but we interviewed 3 great attorney firms this evening, and I don't think that any of them would be a bad choice to handle our city with the municipal experience that they have. Any further discussion? Staff, since this is also your attorney, do you care to chime in on any of it? Okay. With that, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the selection of the attorney firm.
On the motion to approve the attorney firm of Munson, Cacchiola, and Severin, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
And that passed with 6 yeses.
Thank you. That takes us on to item 13, council comments excluding the mayor.
Council comments, we will begin with Ms. Rolfe.
I have no comments.
Mr. Williams,
No comments.
Mr. Claus,
Careful out there on the snow, please. And thank you so much for the good plowing.
Mr. Brandt,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Schuster.
Yeah, I just got a couple things. I want to say congrats to Chief Heineken again for the Warren Cummings Award. That's a big deal, and we're proud to have you and lucky as a city that you're our chief. So, and then it was great to see Officer Tozer sworn in tonight. Excited to see him in action and everything he can do for the city. And then congrats both of you on your pins tonight. Appreciate your service to the city. And your help with the North Bowl High School hockey team. Congrats to them for winning state. That's a really big deal for the city, and it was great to see such a warm reception for them coming home. So that's all.
And that's all for council member comments.
May I move to go into executive session, mayor's job?
Not to cut you off, but I think we need a motion to suspend the rules first because we can't do that from executive session, and I foresee that going past 10 p.m.
Yeah, to extend the rules, please.
So I'd move to extend the rules to allow us to go to midnight.
Second.
Second.
I heard Ms. Rolfe, seconded by Mr. Williams. Was that correct?
Yes.
And then we can do unanimous consent for that, or I can call the roll. Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes.
And if nobody wants to change their vote, that passed with 6. And if
Before
I would like to move for a 5-minute break before we move into executive session. And I would also like to request our new attorney firm be contacted and asked to join the executive session this evening.
They are not our firm until we sign a contract with them, Larry. So that's not appropriate.
We're back live.
Good evening. We're back live. It's 9:47. I've reached out to our new attorney, Rob Palmer with MCS, and asked him to be part of the executive session. He agreed to do that per our contracted rate, which was placed in the bid, and do additional services based on the contract that Councilman Pro Tem David Brandt signed in my absence.
Council did
during the-
approve that at a special meeting. It wasn't just approved by David.
Correct, during the January 12th meeting. So, Madam Clerk, if you would please send an invite to Rob Palmer. Mr. Palmer?
Could
going
we,
to
I can
executive
do that, but are we going to is anybody going to make a motion to go off the record? So
Actually, Madam Clerk, since this is about me, I would prefer that be public. So if you wouldn't mind emailing Mr. Palmer and having him attend, that way we continue forth. And since it is my job performance and review, I don't feel like sitting here in this seat is appropriate. So I will hand the gavel to Mayor Pro Tem Brandt, and he can continue the meeting during my job performance.
Go off record for a second here.
there needs to be a motion.
I move to suspend the rules and take a 5-minute at ease.
5 minutes, and is there unanimous consent on that?
So are we back on the record now, Madam Clerk, since the 5-minute recess is over?
You are, sir.
Okay.
So at the moment, we're awaiting the attorney's presence.
It's still sitting right here? Because you said you were gonna collect them and then I noticed it's still here.
Took, yeah. Didn't want to.
Too many papers.
Madam Clerk, would you like me to excuse myself and go grab his cellular number so that you could call him? Or, I'm sorry, Pro Tem Brandt, would you like me to excuse myself and get our attorney's number to call? Okay.
Probably to be official, and we should probably call him. At the.
If we could all please just speak into the mic so that everything can be recorded, if you would. Thank you.
My recommendation is this is why we need a city attorney.
My opinion, since the mayor is the subject of this particular executive session, and he does have a right to have an attorney present, that he be permitted to get the contact information for the attorney so that the clerk can call and we can proceed.
Kershaw, do you think you could get the city's utility phone so we could call? Mayor Turch, do you have the phone number to Rob?
I certainly can get it if I could be excused. I'll go to my office and grab that number unless Mayor Pro Tem Brandt, who is running this executive session, has that contact number.
I would just like to clarify, we're not in executive session yet. We haven't taken motion.
Okay, thank you for that.
It takes a roll call to go into executive session, just. Just getting.
No, you can call.
Oh, Trisha's getting me the utility phone, so
All right, I'm giving you phone.
gotcha,
phone number.
tracking.
This is Rob.
Rob, hi, this is Emily calling from the city of North Pole.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing well. We're still on the record here, just FYI. Larry has asked us to call you. I sent a Zoom link, but the council requested that more expeditiously, I just give you a call.
Okay. Yeah, I'm logged in on Zoom if you want to bring me over, or we can just do it over the phone.
Oh, I sent you a Zoom link to a new meeting. How do I do that?
Gotcha.
Tracking, that's why you're not showing up on my. I'm sorry about that, Rob. Well, that was a good suggestion, Sandra. I didn't consider that the new.
That's a good point. Would not have thought about that either.
sent him. By chance get Well, I have him here on the phone, folks. Does anybody have a question for the attorney since I have him here on the phone while we wait? Could you hold that onto the microphone? Hey, Rob, since nobody's saying anything, I'm going to close this meeting down and go pull you into that other meeting. It'll still be on YouTube, so it'll take a moment for me to do this transfer.
Sure. No, that sounds good.
Thank you.